So Watson Brown now joins us. Watson, it hit me yesterday that until further notice, teams that have good defenses are going to do this to the Titans.
Yeah, George, they are. They've played two really good defenses out of three and one poor one. The Saints are very good on defense, too. It was dominant. I personally feel like, and there's a lot to talk about in this one if we got enough time, but I think they lost this one in the week before the game. When Chubb went down and Deshaun didn't play well the week before, I think they had to change their style and knew they were going to have to for the year, and they went to a lot more of Deshaun Watson type stuff. And he came out of his shell. And then having Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, to me, is just huge. He knows that team so well. He crowded the line of scrimmage with 8. The Titans let him. And he penetrated, which I think is a major tough thing on the Titans. And the down linemen were in the backfield on running downs. You're running those flat stretch plays that they love to run, and they hit those gaps and knock them back or came completely clean. I mean, they were hitting Derek sometimes as he was getting the ball. And then I think the third thing during the week is Simmons coming out and talking about Deshaun Watson, and he's undisciplined and he's loose with the ball, and we see this and we're going to take major advantage of this. And you say those things to a whooped dog, and he's a dog. He's a good player. And, man, I'm not sure the whole team didn't rally behind stuff like that. And you could tell they were ready to play. The Titans weren't. And it showed. So all of that to me was during the week. I think they caught the Titans off guard with their no backs, their sideways runs. They ran a lot of sweep type plays, and it just caught the Titans off guard.
Both of you guys, and I want both of y'all to talk about this a little bit. Jim Schwartz was available to hire. He had been, I guess you call it an analyst. Hell, I don't know what an analyst does, but that's apparently what he was. And he's a damn good NFL defensive coordinator. And Vrabel elected not to hire him. And I got the feeling yesterday that Jim kind of enjoyed, I don't know if it's revenge, but something, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, they were ready. And I think that the players had that same feel. I've talked about Deshaun Watson, but they got Schwartz because Tennessee didn't keep him. Basically, couldn't keep him. When he had an opportunity to go be a defensive coordinator, he had to either become the coordinator of the Titans or go. And that's what went down. That's what I said. I think a lot of this game was lost during the week. And one of the neatest plays, I've not seen it. I can remember playing Reggie White at Tennessee at Vanderbilt when I was the coordinator in '82 when we beat them, and all we would do is on running plays. If Reggie was to the left, then we ran the play to the right. We just ran opposite him. Yesterday, the only thing I saw the Titans did smart in the game is on their only drive when they're going down to possibly make it 3 points at the half. They were chipping on both sides. They chipped the tight end in and chipped out on one side, and they had the back chipping out on the other side. And it worked. And then they get down to the goal line where it's the last play. You can't throw it inbounds. It's got to be in the end zone or catch a pass and get out of bounds. And they don't chip. They didn't chip at all. They go down the field doing that. They didn't chip, and here comes Garrett around the corner. That was the play of the game, I thought. It just took the life out of the Titans. And there was a play in the third quarter where the Titans came out in the third quarter and started chipping with a tight end and the back on the same side Garrett was. So they knew he always lined up to the right. So they're chipping with the tight end in the back on Garrett. Well, Schwartz gets Garrett to just start running to the other side. And then the Titans tight end and back would go to the other side. Then Garrett would come back to this side.
And then they got to delay a game.
And the Titans had to call timeout because of it. I mean, it was a day that Schwartz just had them, man. He had them in every kind of way known to man, and I don't know. It's that those things just stuck out to me. I thought the biggest play of the game was the sack and get nothing right before the half, then come out and get the ball and go out, and I think it was 3 plays and punt, and then it's an 80-yard drive by the Browns. So pretty much that did it, in my opinion, right there.
Kelly, I want to start this one with you. I sort of walked out of watching that yesterday saying, listen, who's kidding who? They're not going to get a full season of Ryan Tannehill if this continues. He is getting beat all to hell, and a bunch of this is not his fault.
Well, absolutely not. It's not his fault. But just like Coach talked about, you've got, and I can remember Tom Moore growing up with him. He would always protect his quarterbacks. And we were talking about that. He was telling me like 65 guys played last year. You cannot not protect the quarterback. And if you're having problems, Watson just talked about it. I mean, they're going down the field chipping, and then once they get down there, they stop. It's just amazing to me. You have to be able to keep your quarterback upright, and he's getting older. He can run, but he's not. He doesn't want to. He's one of those pocket guys that wants to stay in the pocket. So you've got to give him the best opportunity, and if that means putting Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears in the backfield at the same time, and then chip the edge before they go out on their pass routes, that's what you got to do. But he has no chance. And y'all were talking about Jim Schwartz. Well, there's nobody on the outside, even DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins can get off the ball. He can make catches, but he's an older guy now. But when you've got an offense that really doesn't scare you going downfield, all these DBs can cover these guys, and then you can bring more than they can protect. And when you don't have any fear of going downfield, then the defensive coordinators can just tee off on you. And that's what's happened up until this point. They played some pretty good defenses. Like New Orleans is a really good defense. The Cleveland Browns, I told y'all not to sleep on them. They're really good. And they did some things yesterday. I was listening to the broadcast about, Kevin Stefanski's not an empty guy. He's not an empty guy, but Deshaun Watson talked him into going empty some. So he's starting to get into that. And it just spreads you out. And he played a lot better than the week before. When he played against the Steelers, he did not play good. And we talked about it on the show. Just didn't seem like the Deshaun Watson of old when he was at Clemson. But he looked pretty good the other day. And I want to ask Watson this, because I've been to this and I've been through this, but just explain this to people. Like, when you know that your offense is really bad and you do not have a chance to win, it starts wearing down on your defense, Coach.
Oh, big time. That's absolutely right. And vice versa. If your defense is really poor and your offense just has to keep scoring, you have to have balance to win, and in all 3 phases, and you got to play to whatever, Kelly, that day. And the NFL is so crazy. It is so balanced in talent that it's week to week, man. Look at the Cowboys yesterday. My gracious, they've been so dominant with that defense, and then they just stunk yesterday. I mean, the Cardinals went up and down the field, but you're absolutely right. There's a point. I thought I saw the white flag raised after the 20-3 score yesterday, and you don't see that in Vrabel teams very much at all. And I think what you saw, Kelly, was that the defense just said, "The hell! I mean, there's nothing else we can do, man." I mean, it's still 13-3 before that, and the Titans had done nothing. The Titans have 6 first downs and 94 yards of total offense. I mean, that's unbelievable in the NFL, in my opinion, to be that. But no, I think you're dead on, and I think it just wears on you, and they're going to have to do something. I don't know how in the world you run a tailback-oriented offense like the Titans do. And yesterday, the Browns just said, "The heck with it. We're lining 8 up." You can see all 8 of them in the screen. I mean, they're in there that tight. All 8 of them are in the screen, and we keep trying, and they're penetrating. and we keep trying to hand the ball off. That's when you have to throw the ball in that style of offense. You cannot let them put that many up there and run the ball. You can't. And so they're not capable now. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, George, maybe a little bit they could still do that, but not now. The offensive line is not near good enough, and they've got to let him check and throw a one-on-one pass out there. And Kelly's right; somebody got to win the one-on-one. And I hope Hopkins is hurt with a lower body, something ankle, because I don't see speed there anymore. I see still a great player that can reach up and catch anything, and he knows how to position his body, and he knows how to go up and get it. But I don't see him leaving people. And there's not a lot of speed right now. Moore is the best speed guy they've got, and he's made 2 big plays in two games in a row.
So, guys, let me toss it out here this way. This is Vrabel's deal. You know, he's as close to being a GM as you can be without the title. They talk all this collaborative stuff. Is it time to start questioning what Vrabel is doing? Because he's gotten, for the most part, a free pass, but at times this is getting embarrassing.
Well, it's tough right now to me because they've lost 8 of their last 9?
9 of their last 10, I think it is.
Is it 9 of their last 10? So they got to get through this somehow. I don't know that I would be doing that now, George. I think it's in the back of people's minds, but they got to let this play out here. And I just know the NFL. I know Mike. I've seen it with his teams. I've seen them stink one day and come back the next weekend and play lights out. I've seen them do it. And so let's see what happens as time goes on. The 2 scary parts of this football team, the start of the year that we were nervous about, man, did it raise its head yesterday. The secondary was awful. I do not understand how we reach out and grab everybody. Just grab them. I mean, it's undisciplined as it can be. In college football, and you've got a deep ball, okay, they grab them because it's 15-yard penalty. In the pro game, they get the ball right there if you grab them. I mean, so make them make a play. We've got to stop. Our hands are just way wild, and to me that creates no confidence in the DBs when they're doing that. And that last touchdown, guys, Kelly, they're in quarters coverage, and I don't know if his quarters read. The inside receiver went to the flat. The outside guy ran a deep post. Nobody goes with him. They both just stand there looking at each other. It was as embarrassing as it gets. And so, George, to me, Mike better get some things straightened out. And I'm starting to see players starting to say things, and I've never seen Mike's players do that.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see players make statements after games, and that's not a good sign.
Kelly, you heard the question. Fill in your blanks there.
Well, I done forgot the question now.
Well, okay. This is Vrabel's deal. Okay. Yeah. He's the head coach, but he's also part GM. This team has been completely put together in his image. And when it was good, it was really good. But right now, it just doesn't feel like they've got the stuff to do this.
Yeah, 9 of 10. Losing 9 out of the last 10 is pretty tough. And I want to reiterate what Coach just talked about, because I can remember seeing Kevin Byard, a former MTSU alumni, right at the last few seconds of the game, they came off, they gave up that touchdown. He was just looking disgusted. And they've got a good defensive line. I mean, I think that's the bright spot. They've got guys that can rush the passer, and when you can get pressure on the quarterback, your DBs ain't got to be great. But if you don't, and if you just give up, like yesterday, it just didn't feel like that they knew they were watching the game. They're watching the game, the defense, when they're sitting on the sideline and they're like 94 yards. Like, we can't cover anybody and we can't hold anybody if our offense is just going to give 94 yards. So that's the real concerning thing to me. because you've seen Buddy Ryan and the other guy, the Gilbride guy, get into a fight because the offense wasn't doing things and the defense is doing everything. And that stuff happens in a locker room, George. You start picking sides, and winning cures a lot of stuff. But when you're losing and when you're in the rut they're in right now, it's just not good. And I've never seen Mike Vrabel's team like this. I really haven't. And it seemed like yesterday it was a little bit like the Denver Broncos gave up. The Chicago Bears gave up. The Tennessee Titans, I'm not saying they gave up totally, but they didn't look like the Tennessee Titans that we know, that a fight to the end. And Coach just talked about it. I know nobody knows what quarters coverage is, but everybody's got a quarter of the field. But when the number 2 receiver goes flat, that ain't got anything to do with the safety in the corner. I mean, and for them to let Amari Cooper get behind him on a simple post route, usually it's the number 2 receiver running like a hook or an in route to take that safety out, and then you're one-on-one with the quarter. But you just like that's not football right there. And it seemed like they kind of gave up there towards the end. So it's not – I don't know. You can see them guys coming back because they've done it over and over and over again under Mike Vrabel, but I don't know, man. Where the offense is right now, it's hard to get guys to play hard. It really is.
Yeah. Watson, appreciate your taking the time to do this. By the way, congrats to your brother. Great 4-0 start. Hope it continues.
Yep, 2 years in a row. It's 2 years in a row. They've been 4-0, so hopefully they can take it further this go around.
Did he teach Drake how to throw with the left hand?
No, I don't think that was in the game plan, to be very honest. But the kid's amazing.
Turned out
he's the second pick in the draft. I'm telling you, and the first is in Southern California. He's that good. So he's had that one, and Sam Howell. That's been his 2 quarterbacks since he's been in Carolina.
It's pretty good.
He's been pretty good. That's pretty good. Yep.
Watson, thank you. Talk soon.
Okay, guys. Talk to you.